Heads to the lines, who's up, who's down. We're crunching the numbers, calling the plays, talking all sports in a big time way. Yeah, yeah. Spreadsheet Sports, let's ride.
Welcome back to Spreadsheet Sports. It is the 23rd. We have 18 games today. Should be a pretty interesting day today with NCAA. Yesterday was phenomenal. Did pretty good. Did pretty good. But as always, let's start out the show and thank everybody for coming back to the show today. For those that are looking for some entertainment value, those that are looking for some monetary value, if you're playing and taking your chances on the marketplace. But definitely thank you for coming to the show. We are growing in numbers, growing in subscribers. I got some comments, people talking to me. Man, this is it's just pretty good. And the best thing about all of it is that the games are providing like some real interesting matchups. Like you really got to dig into the details to find out like what's been going on. Yesterday was one of those days where it proved the process right yesterday because literally you had to really like see what the real matchup was. You had some underdogs that won yesterday. You had some people that were supposed to win, but they didn't win by the spread, but they just barely got a bye. It was amazing. Even my bias yesterday hit BYU. Man, they just made me a fan. I feel like I'm in baseball season because I became an O's fan during baseball season and hadn't looked back. Baseball we'll talk about next, but when that season comes up. But as for basketball, have not disappointed at all. I mean, I'm about to go into the games. I'm gonna do a different type of show today for you guys. Normally, my format is I talk about the marketplace and some of the trends in the marketplace, and I also talk about my record. I'm gonna still include that, but I want to start off today with showing you some of my tickets from yesterday that hit. Okay, like I said, I had a pretty good day yesterday. All the naysayers, it was like, I don't think that's gonna hit, and I don't know, and blah blah blah. And I think they be giving me that type of energy because they low key hate, like, and they just want to like stay connected, but still throw their shade at me, and that's cool because while I cash the checks, they still hating and they still trying to figure this whole thing out, and they still second guessing whether or not the math is right. They still second guessing whether I know what I'm doing with the calculations, like I'm just some dummy. And that's cool. That's cool because they lost, I won in the story, right? So I'm good with that. But we're going to see what the math looks like today. We're going to see what the matchups are and what potential can come out of it. But let's dive in and let's look at how I did yesterday in regards to the tickets and how I put them together versus just looking at all of the different bets that I'm thinking about doing. The other part of it is going to literally be how you match them, how you match up what you select, right? In the betting world, we call it like shaving. You'll have your group of like maybe 10 to 15 bets, but you want to shave it down to the most highly probable scenarios, right? And then literally like drill down and double down on those. But anyway, um, and can't forget my disclaimer, not a betting channel. I'm not here to tell you what to do or how to do it. I'm just showing you what I'm doing. If you like it, then knock yourself out. If you don't like it, fine. Just go in the comment section and tell not just me, but anybody on here why we're wrong and why you like going a different way. That's all. Just stand on, whatever it is that you gotta say off of your chest. No, just don't just say something and run away like a coward. You know what I mean? But anyway, great day yesterday. Naysayers are hating a little bit more, which I like. Because we want to get that bad energy away from us anyway, right? We only want people here that's going to talk about what they think and why they think it's going to be that way. And in that way, all of us can grow and all of us can get better. And we'll keep all of the other ill-willed, negative Nancy's out of this whole scenario. and then we won't even be bothered with them. But anyway, let's jump right into it and let's see what we got for today. Now, these are like from my actual tickets that I put in, right? These are what hit yesterday for me. Like I had a 7 game round robin. Okay. I did not put the other 2 games on here from that round robin because they were pro. It doesn't go with the content type that I'm doing for this show, right? But with that being said, I just wanted you to see what that looks like and how that unfolded for me. And as you see, one of these games, right, was the Michigan and Texas A&M. I was like sold on Michigan. Like I was like, Michigan got this. I saw something in Michigan this last couple games with this point guard, and they are battle tested. And I just couldn't go against them in this game. The data had it looking kind of close, but I was like, it's something about Michigan right now. And Go Blue. Yeah, Go Blue got me some cash yesterday. Like literally, I got them for total points. I got them for over on the regular points for Michigan, and on top of that, I got Michigan for the spread. That was tough to like pull out of the weeds. You know what I mean? But I stood 10 toes down on that one, and that one hit. And on top of that, we had Crichton and Auburn. All of us knew Auburn was going to win. We were curious about if they could cover the spread. The answer came in, and it was a hard yes. Also had down here over 68.5 on the points. So that was good. Also, that was another good combo. Combo number 3, Bradley and George Mason. Another one where I was like, Bradley can win. They should win. But is it worth it? And I found something that was worth it with the money line plus with Bradley going over 63.5 points. I was like, I'll take it. I just, the data said that I should, and I did, and it worked out perfectly. Tennessee, that was kind of a given. It just really was hard finding value. And like, I got lucky and got the value on the Tennessee game only because I was in the matrix and on the books, and I got these odds a little bit earlier than right before the game, right? So that was those, and then probably the one I'm most proud of is BYU. That was one I got a lot of heat about. Like, it's not them. Like, yeah, you just only like them, and that's why you choosing them. I'm like, yeah, I like them, but I like what the matchup is even more than me liking them, and that proved to be what it was. And again, this was a great day. Like, if you guys don't know about round robins, I don't know what to tell you. You're late to the party. I'd love to show you. I'll even probably end up doing a video where I show you guys how to put together a round robin. It's the most logical thing and pragmatic thing to do because you get to have your cake and eat it too. Because even if 4 of these out of the 7 would have hit yesterday, if one of these didn't, then I still would have got paid, right? If only 3 of these would have hit out of the 7, I'd have still got paid. All in how you structure your round robin. So when I did the round robin, I did in pairs of 3 and in pairs of 4, right? I didn't do 5, I didn't do 6, and I didn't do 2 because 5 and 6 was going to be even more highly improbable that I can get the outcome just based off of the data and the algorithm. When it comes to the pairs of 2, you're just not getting paid enough, but you could potentially get paid a decent amount on a times 2 or pairs of 2 matchup in a round robin, but you got to put much more money down on just that individual selection of times 2. But again, it might sound a little complicated, but in the reality of it, you can put down 6 games, 7 games, 8 games, right? You can even go as high as 10 games on a round robin as long as you're only doing 2 legs per game. That's going to be 20 legs in total. And you're literally at that point taking it and having 10 games that you're round robin in any type of combination. For those that don't know about round robin, the reason I do that is because it's an insurance that pays much higher than what the premium is. The premium is like in the grand scheme of things, this bet was like really, really low in regards to my investment amount, right? Remember, I don't look at this as sports betting. I'm not banging on my chest like some 3 year old. I'm literally trying to find the value, right? So when I'm looking at the value, okay, it has to at least be plus cheese, right, on the odds, right? Because they're doing the round robin as the game, not the individual. Those two together put me over plus cheese. Those three together put me over plus cheese. So you literally are trying to just push every game over, at least over 150. If you can get over 150 per game on a round robin and then put that in together, money, 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 winner, winner, chicken dinner. Like literally, because even though all 7 games didn't hit, I still ended up getting a really great profit margin off of these 5 hitting out of the 7. So just think of it more so along the lines of my profit margin for these 5 out of the 7 games yesterday was an 87.9% profit margin. I don't post on here like when you see any of my bets, you'll never see how much money I made because I need to get you guys out of the mindset of being like excited about, oh, such and such hit and he got $100 or he got $1,000 or he made $50,000. Like, okay, he made that, but what did he make it off of? Because that's all that really matters. Like they're not gonna trick me into like jumping on your bandwagon because you made $1,000 off of a bet. Well, how did you get the bet? Like, do you know how you got there? Why did you take the bet? What stood out to you? Now I'm not talking about you had a dream about such and such winning. I'm talking about like how did you know that the game was actually going to go this way? What statistical, analytical, algorithmic data did you use to tell you that this is what's going to happen? Right? With what probability and mindset did you guys have when it comes to that? So just think of it that way. Like that's why you'll never see me like posting on here, oh, I hit for this amount. That's not the important part. How much I made is not the important part. The odds on the individual games are the important part because you can always scale it up however you want to do it. You could take any one of these 5 that's here and make any amount of money that you want on it from betting $5 to 500 to 5,000. You can bet whatever you want on them, and the math's still going to work out the same way. So don't get excited about people telling you about how much they won. Find out what the ticket actually is, and then find out if they actually know how they even came to that conclusion. If they don't even know that, or they had a whole bunch of other crazy stuff on it that didn't make any sense, it's like, what do you don't even really know what you're doing, right? But anyway, stop running my mouth on this. This was a good one. I pounded on my chest, and I definitely screamed at all the haters about this particular these games because they just they disgust me the way that they are like the prospectors and the observers sometimes because it's like why you got to be so negative and pessimistic? Like, you know what I mean? I get curiosity, but we move past curiosity when somebody can literally show you how they make the sausage versus just bringing you a pack of sausage and telling you, hey, this is how much it costs, right? But anyway, let's dive into literally. I'll show you my record right quick before we jump into the games, and that's where we get started and talk about the games I think I found for us today. As you see, we finally got some movement here. We got some movement. Remember, I was talking about how bad I sucked on points bets and on total points. I fixed that. But what I didn't, in the midst of fixing that, I broke my money line. Like, I don't know what happened to my money line laser focus. I don't know what happened to my spread laser focus. Like, literally, it went in the dumpster. Now, I'm slowly coming out of the ditch with my selections on money lines and on spreads, but I'm standing strong with the points bets on the individual teams and on the total points for the whole game. And I'm gonna just work with what's been working for me. But I think that today is going to be a good money line day for me. It was just easier to see, and you'll see that in the games that I select. But here's where we are right now. I got 50% on the money line yesterday. I got 50% on spreads, and then I got 88% of my bets on individual points hit, and then 71% of my total points bets hit. So I was happy with that because it balanced out. And again, as you kind of check, you see how you can connect the dots between my tickets that hit and what my record is that I'm showing you with the transparency, right? So it literally is not all about like the 20. I yesterday the data and myself ended up choosing somewhere around 24 total individual bets, right? Money line, spread, points, total points, all of the above, right? Buying spreads down, buying them up, everything, right? But I'm still choosing how I want to pair those all up together, right? And so that's the other part. That's the other part of your strategy. I'm not giving you betting advice. I'm just sharing with you what I have discovered through my research and the many, many, many hours I put into really just trying to dissect how this marketplace works. Okay. So you got to know what you're doing. From my data right here, it would make more sense for me to just make tickets with total points and team points and leave money line and spreads completely alone. And I'm doing that slightly by not going so heavy on the bets that I'm going with for money line, right? But I'm mixing it up, knowing that my weakness is in money line and my weakness is in spread, right? But even though it's a weakness, I do get some of them right. That's where the luck part comes in. But luck is where preparation meets opportunity, right? So just think of it that way. If you're not prepared, then you're just not going to be ready for whenever those opportunities present themselves to you. But just do the work and you'll be fine, right? But this is how I fared out yesterday in regards to the analytical data, other than me just flashing some tickets in front of your face, right? But this is what it ended up looking like. We got some really good movement. We're starting to take off in the right direction. I'm hoping and praying and calculating that today is going to be really, really good on the money line side. Um, yeah, that's what I got with this. Let's jump into these five. No, I found four games for us. Four games, but I do have a list of all of the games that I'm thinking about for today. And I'll pop that up for you guys and you can screenshot that here at the end of the video. But let's jump into these four games that I have identified and what I think may have entertainment value as well as the monetary value if you're in that world betting. And these are just four games I think if you sit down and watch them on TV, you'll be fine, right? You'll be happy to watch them. It's going to be a competitive event. And that's always a plus, right? To watch a good game instead of watching some blowout. Blowouts are only good unless it's your team, right? But if it's not your team, you just want to watch the sport. I think these four games are going to give you that entertainment value. They also have the monetary value as well. If you're here and you want to start your research to figure out how you can leverage those games, at least this research that I have here for you is a starting point, and then you can kind of go from there. But let's dive into it. This Illinois and Kentucky game is rather interesting because at first glance, either one of them could win this game, to be honest. Um, and as we started the very beginning of it all, let's pull it apart, right? We know that because of the neutral locations for these games now at this stage in the game in the tournaments, right? At this stage, everybody's at a neutral site. So don't forget to change your own research in regards to how do they win on the road or how they win at home. Both teams are on the road, right? There's no home court advantage, right? So with that being said, both of the teams only winning about half of their games on the road, so that's leaving it to like still competitive. I can't choose either one of the teams based off of that. Who has the better roster, right? So you got Kentucky is outperforming Illinois with a better roster. They got more upperclassmen. 69% of their upperclassmen are freshmen. I'm sorry, with seniors and juniors versus Illinois. That's like they're not young boys, but they got a nice mixture. And I'm not sure that the leadership and the seniority on their roster is going to be able to carry them through. You got to also remember these young men are starting to experience fatigue. They've been playing almost every other day, and leading up to that, like they had a little bit of rest and some didn't. So with all of that being said, like you can't take away the part of fatigue. Their bodies get tired, their minds get tired. They are student athletes, right? So you don't know what else they got going on psychologically that might distract them. We don't have data on that. But for the data that we do have in regards to performance, it just is what it is. Now, when it comes to the actual categories of the game, offense, defense, points, we still at a stalemate. Like Illinois is better on defense and Kentucky is better on offense, like much better, right? But both teams aren't that good on defense. It's just that Illinois is better, which also leads you to think that it's going to be kind of a shootout because they're going to let each other score. Other categories that are favorable. Illinois has it locked down with the rebounds and with field goal attempts. They're going to take more shots than Kentucky. However, Kentucky is going to do much better with moving the ball around. They're going to do much better with 3-point attempts. They're going to take more threes. Not a whole lot more. It's probably going to be about the same at the end of the day of in regards to 3-point attempts that they're going to take, but that's just kind of it is what it is. But efficiency wise, Kentucky is a better team efficiency wise. Number 4 Big Ten team versus the number 6 SEC team. What do you do with that? I mean, you could do something with it if you ended the whole thing of like ranking conferences and saying, oh, okay, well, the ACC versus SEC or the WAC versus the MEAC or SWAC, something like that. Like, I guess that's pertinent. But here's the reality for me. Like, I don't care whether you come from uh UNC Wilmington, no shade on them, but if you're coming from UNC Wilmington and you're lining up against a Duke, all I really care about is how many times you get that round ball in that metal rim. Like, they still all humans. These are young men, they all bleed. They all dealing with different problems. Just because you go to Duke don't make you like bulletproof. Like, you can get beat. I'm even looking into the future with these games, and I'm not sure about Duke. I'm not talking about that they are like paper champs. They are solid, but I'm just not sure. I see some areas where they could possibly get beat. Same thing with Auburn. I see where they can get beat. I don't know. I mean, we might see Auburn versus Duke for the championship. I think that might be a good possibility if they can get past this next couple of games, which I think that they can. But if they do, I'm going with Auburn. I'm going with Auburn if that happens, only because like that's what the data said. But let me get back and focus back on this game specifically. But that's what we have right now. This is why I think Kentucky is going to be your best horse in this scenario. Even the math is going to get it against it. Like the math is saying that, DR is saying 57% Illinois. The data and DR together is saying Illinois. Like the only thing on Kentucky side as a win is the actual data and what is predicting. The data is predicting that Kentucky can win. But DR and the data together are thinking they're leaning more Illinois. So Kentucky's kind of a lone wolf scenario. They plus cheese, they the underdog. I get it. But I think they can pull this out. I think it's a tight game and they end up pulling this out here at the end. I mean, even when it comes down to injuries, right? Kentucky is the problem and they have a serious problem when it comes to the injuries, but I'm not sure that it's going to really affect them that bad. And here's why. Jackson Robinson is the guard that's out, right? But they got Ortega Owali that's still replacing that 16 points. So with Oway replacing the 16, if in fact Jackson Robinson's game time decision and he decides to play, then it makes it an even better scenario. But even right now, the model is telling me that Kentucky can win this even with Robinson out. I didn't say they will. I'm just saying that they can. And given that Kentucky is battle tested, I'm willing to go out on and jump off the porch on this one and just say, like, I think Kentucky is the better option. I really do. And I mean, with or without the game time decision on Jackson Robinson. We'll see, but that's just kind of where I'm at with this one. Like I said, if you disagree or you see another angle or something that I'm not seeing or I'm missing, let me know. Let's figure it out because I mean we got some time. That game is at 5. This is getting ready to launch, and we still got time to kind of like hash our way through what we think may happen with this one. But I'm Kentucky. Nothing against Illinois. It's going to be a great competition. Probably going to come down to the very end. Maybe even see a buzzer beater today. Maybe. If you're into the whole points thing, choose probably anything over 70 points. 75. I wouldn't go as far as like 77 or 79. Um, Together, I think it's about 170 points in total. The bet is 165 if you're doing the betting thing. Um, I like over. I would take over on total points on this. I would take over. No, no, yeah, I would take over. Take over is probably going to happen because the both defenses aren't that good. They're going to let each other score. Yeah, take over. That'll probably be what you see from this game. But let's dive into the next one. Arkansas State, North Texas. Uh, Arkansas State is another one that's like BYU for me. They got a special place in my heart. So I'm gonna try to be objective about this as we pull this apart. But Arkansas State, I'm kind of sold on them over North Texas. And maybe I changed my mind while I talked about the game, but I think Arkansas State is your game. And again, you see how like these games I'm showing you, you see how they might have the entertainment value because there's going to be a lot of back and forth. It's going to be highly competitive. Nobody's going to lay down on either side, right? And this is win or go home status. So like, oh God, the level of adrenaline these young men have right now is crazy. But um, how both of them play on the road, both of them winning about 58% of the games on the road. You can't ask for anything better than that. If you got a good winning record at home and then on the road you still winning a little bit, then yeah, it makes it a tough decision. A tough decision. But the edge that North Texas has, right, is going to be in the upperclassmen. They got 71% of their roster are upperclassmen. North Texas also has the much better defense, like not just better defense, but much better, right? In regards to defensive points. They're up against an Arkansas State that is like a much, much better offense than the defense is on the when it comes to that. So you got pretty much a number 40 offense versus a number 3 defense in regards to Arkansas versus North Texas, right? And then you got a horrible defense in North Texas. I'm sorry, in Arkansas State versus North Texas, right? So with that being said, yeah, Um, I definitely am like, I'm torn, but I'm gonna show you why I think it's Arkansas State, right? Arkansas State screams out to me, not because of the data. The data is saying that North Texas should win this game, and they probably will, which does leave you an opportunity for the plus 3.5, and you can buy it up to maybe 5.5, right? This game is at 7. You got plenty of time to do this. Um, but I like Arkansas State here. They check off all the boxes: rebound, assists, 3-point attempts, field goals. They're going to take more shots. They also are doing really good with the fast break points. Like, you can't forget about that either, right? So, like, even when you look at this game and you're like, okay, well, what about the fast break? Like, how are they doing with fast break? Like, they both are like talented teams and they both got hustle inside of them. Um, Today is really going to really come down to like who is the better hustler, I would say. Um, but they have a different way of hustling. And then what I'm saying is like, okay, Arkansas State is getting you at least 25 defensive rebounds, not just regular rebounds, but at least 26 defensive rebounds, which is more than the 20 rebounds, defensive rebounds that North Texas gets. North Texas also does not do well on converting any of the defensive rebounds into fast breaks to get some points against the Arkansas State team that's getting at least 12 points on the fast break conversion. So with that being said, how do you like discredit that? And this is the point in the tournament where the hustlers are going to win. Like the people that play the hardest, not the highest skilled, but the hardest players. Like you got to focus on coaching, hustle, discipline. The upperclassmen are going to bring the discipline. The coaching is going to like provide the direction, and all they got to do is execute what the coaches tell them to do with that level of urgency. That's it. If they do that, they win the game and they make it to the next game on the schedule. That's for any team, right? I see Arkansas State as that dog to do that today, especially without any type of injuries issue or anything like that. I think Arkansas State out hustles them. And that's why I'm like, that's where I am where I'm at with this. Like, I know the math says it's a no, but I think they out hustle North Texas. They win this game, and they probably win it by 5 or 7. So definitely take the plus 3.5. You could take plus 5. You could take plus 7 to give yourself a cushion and still get decent value and add in some points with that. Like, take the over 70 points or take both teams over 67. Plus buying up the spread to maybe plus 5.5, and you might have yourself something there. Like, I already put all my tickets in for the day, like at about 5 o'clock this morning. So like, I already know like what I got and what I don't have, and I got a different variations of all types of stuff. But that's what I like for the day. Again, not a betting channel. You do whatever you want to do with it, but these are the things that I see staring me in the face, and this is why I'm jumping off the park with Arkansas State. I could be completely wrong. I'm cool with that. Time will tell, and cashing out the ticket will tell. But that's what I got with this game. Colorado State and Maryland. Another tricky game. I'm still, to be honest with you guys, like I'm still kind of torn with that Michigan Maryland game. And that's when I really, to be honest with you, that's when I started paying attention to Michigan after that Michigan Maryland game. But I still like Maryland. I still like Maryland. I mean, I'm in Maryland, so I should be a fan, but you know, it is what it is. But I like Maryland in this game, but I still can't deny Colorado State. And here's why. Both of them are winning good on the road. Okay, so that's not a problem for either one of these organizations. It's just that Maryland has just got a slightly better margin of upperclassmen than Colorado State, so that's not really a like knocking it out of the park, right? The categories is where it gets interesting because Maryland is clearly dominating. They're not just doing better; they are dominating in offensive points, defensive points allowed, rebounds, 3-point efficiency, right? Field goal attempts. Like, they're doing well. The math is saying that they're getting at least 77 points, at least. I would say it's more like maybe 75 to be safe, but it's going to be a game in the 80s. I think it's going to be a slight shootout. Maybe Colorado State can stay in this, and maybe it might even be by halftime, it might look one way, and then the end of the game is something completely different. And we do know that about Maryland. Like, literally, they do have some fight in them. But I think if it comes down to a dogfight in the last 2 minutes, if Colorado State is still around, they could get out hustled. Because that's literally what happened with the Maryland and Michigan game. Like, Maryland had that game. Michigan stayed in and fought. And you see that point guard at Michigan and how this kid, man, that whole squad, Michigan is a problem. They are a problem. You cannot turn yourself away from them, right? But I think the same thing about Maryland. If Maryland's coaching can get them in a good enough cushion and lead and not do anything stupid in the last 3 to 5 minutes of the game with a decent lead, and just respond with another score or get a foul and go to the line and kind of keep the game and keep that cushion, then yeah, I think Maryland can win. If they don't do that and it's a testy like 2 to 3 point difference in the last 2 3 minutes, Maryland could lose this game. Same way that they did with Michigan. Once Michigan tied it up, it was a wrap. And I think it was fatigue though. I don't think it's psychological. I think Maryland is just tired. They're playing like they're tired, it looks like. Even though they're still doing good. Maybe this little day rest that they had might be enough. And we'll see, but they were traveling, right? I don't know. These young men's mind might be on spring break and looking at some young lady on the strip right now. I don't know. That's just something we don't know about, but we all that went to school and played sports, we know where their mind is at, and it might not be on sports, right? It could be on any and everything else other than this game coming up, or it might just be, yeah, an intense focus, but that comes with maturity. But anyway, injury wise, Braden Pierce is really the only thing, which is not even a thing. Like, he's only giving you 2 points as a center. He does well on rebounds. I mean, I don't really see it as a real thing, but with Rodney Rice still giving them the 14 points and giving us about an 18% contribution, I just don't see Braden Pierce being out being an issue. I really don't. Nick Clifford is giving up 19 points, which is pretty good for Colorado State, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. I think if this is a game of coaching, if the players are disciplined enough to follow the lead of the coach, I think that Maryland can win this game. But if they lose sight of the coach being their lighthouse, then yeah, it's going to take a completely different turn, and we'll see something completely different. But um, that's what I got on this game. Let me know what you guys think on this one, if you kind of like with it or you're not. But I'm going with Maryland on this game. Probably going to go with Maryland for individual points, and I'm probably going to go with them money line. But if I do money line because they're not paying anything, I'm going to definitely stick more so to spread. If I add, I would go money line because it's so horrible and it's kind of highly probable Maryland's going to win. I go Maryland total points over 148, and then I also go with individual points over 75 points. And that'll be 3 legs on that one game and still take you well over plus cheese and still keep your probability good. Again, not giving you that advice. That's up to you, but that's how I see the game and some of the opportunities. And I'm going to lay all that out for you guys at the very end, but that's what I'm thinking about for this game. And with that last game for tonight, Kent State and Stanford. 9 o'clock tonight. Lights are bright. Not as many games still on at 9 o'clock, and it's limited viewership. Uh, are the lights going to be too bright? I don't know. I don't know. They might be too bright for Stanford. Only 40% are upperclassmen. They don't do well on the road. They're not even doing that well in the categories. And that's the crazy part because I'm giving you the facts, and even with the facts, what happens? That literally they still think Kent State's not going to win. Kent State is better in most of the categories, literally. Upperclassmen, winning on the road, offensive points, defensive points, rebounds, field goal attempts. They'll take a lot more, like 3 more field goal attempts than Stanford. And then on top of that, they are better on efficiency, but not by a whole lot. So it's slim. Um, And even, I mean, to be quite honest, there's slim winnings on the matchups individually, other than on defensive points and on um I would say defensive points and rebounds are what separates both teams. Other than that, they're kind of the same, but they're just slightly better than the other team. The data says that Stanford wins this game, and I kind of know why the book is thinking that. They're thinking that mainly because of the whole injury piece, right? Morgan Sanford being out, giving 11 points on that game as a guard, but they still got Jalen Sullinger giving them 15. It's probably going to be game time decision. If it's game time decision, then that helps Kent State. I still think they can win without him, only because they have the senior leadership. That upper class leadership piece is big. It's huge. Like, all the games moving forward, you better be choosing or looking at the team or considering the team that has more upperclassmen, because they already have a system. They already know the system. They're not getting distracted by the young ladies in the lobby and the groupies and all of that and getting into some trouble and whatever else going on while they're getting ready for a game, right? So upperclassmen effect, I think, is probably going to be the deciding factor outside of all of the actual statistical data. Um, I know that the math is saying a hard no on Kent State. I'm saying yes. I could be all the way wrong, like completely wrong, but I'm thinking that that's what we're looking at for this particular game. um, which gives you a couple of options. You could go with the plus 6.5 on the spread. You could even take it up or take it down, and have cushion either way still. To the point that I think that even if Kent State does lose, they're only going to lose by maybe 1 to 3 points if they do lose. But I'm thinking they're going to win. But I think if they do, it's going to be like maybe 1 to 3 points that they lose by. They're going to fight to the very end. I'm not sure if Stanford going to come in with a sense of entitlement because they're coming from ACC. They may, in fact, have that mindset of, "Oh, I'm ACC. I'm better." And like, nah, bro. It's a basketball. I got blood running through my veins. We got on sneakers. We the same. And somebody's going to lose and somebody's going to win. But that's just kind of where I see. I mean, injury wise, Evan Stinson for Stanford. I really don't even see like the injuries being the thing. But I mean, even if you looked at just something else for this game, like what I also saw like that might be like something was like looking at like who's the biggest hustler in this game. Kent State's the bigger hustler, but they're not the hustler of their other year. Like they're just doing better, and they do better with deep. Like they do better with defensive rebounds. They do better with points from the fast breaks. They're doing better with fast break conversions. So with all of that being said, like literally, I see Kent State out hustling this Mr. ACC Stanford team, right? I'm just not impressed by Stanford in this matchup. I think they get outworked. I think they get outcoached. I think that they don't see them coming, and that's just kind of where it ends up being for me. But I don't know. I don't think injuries are a factor. I think this is hustle, senior leadership, juniors on the team, working the system that they know how to work. The lights aren't too bright. They got the discipline, the maturity. Um, yeah, Kent State. I'm sold. I'm sold. They're not playing as good as they. The other small piece about Kent State is that they're not playing as good as they normally do, but they're still playing good, and I think good enough. So that's where I'm at with it. I'm still sticking with Kent State. I might change my mind by 9 o'clock, because I'm putting together something else today. But I might change it at 9 o'clock. By 9 o'clock, maybe by 8 o'clock. But that's where I'm going with this game. It's gonna be a good one to watch, but that's where I'm going. So here's some stuff for you guys, like literally that I put together. I think might be helpful. What I see in today's layout, like I just wanted to give you guys an idea of like where I'm coming from. And this is what I look at for myself. Like I told you guys, I love doing the show because it's therapy for me. I get to listen to myself talk about the game, and I'm literally able to kind of like check off my own boxes of, I know I'm thinking that this game may go this way, but based off of what I'm talking about, when I talk about the research I've done, like it may change. But this is where I'm thinking things are now. When I watch my show and I make some more tickets after watching the show, I might change my mind. But as it stands right now, this is where I'm at. And as you see for the layout, I know you want to do a screenshot, knock yourself out, but this is what I got. I got Northern Arizona, Kentucky, San Francisco, Maryland, and UAB. On the far right, so that you know how to read this, literally where it says ML bet, if there's a B in the ML bet for that team, that's because I'm choosing that money line, right? TTL points bet at the far right, that stands for total points. PTS bets, that's individual team points. SPRD is the spread bet that I want to take. If it's highlighted in blue, that means that I'm willing to buy it up or buy it down, but just kind of negotiate with whatever line that they have, just to give you an idea. And then I gave you a little short synopsis of why I think these games are going to go the way that they're going, right? Not as detailed as what my game breakdown looks back, but this is what I think for that group of games. For the other group of games, I'm liking Alabama, Arkansas State, Iowa State, Kent State, and Arizona. And then again, same layout. This is why I like it when it's the chunk in the middle. I even got here for you the money line odds, the spread odds, the total point odds. Everything is there for you guys to make your own minds up. And then my grid of what I like for those particular games. So that's how you read that. Knock yourself out. Good luck with that. and hopefully it'll be a happy day hunting for you. It's definitely going to have entertainment value. Like, I would even watch any of these games just to sit and watch a game. I think that it's going to be that entertaining. But definitely, as you see, you got some games I'm thinking might be upsets. I see at least 3 to 7 upsets today in the whole grand scheme of things. It's going to be some very sad faces at the end of the night with some people that thought the games were going to go a different way. So that brings us to the end of the show today. I definitely hope you found value in the games that I found for us to review. NCAA, NCAA, go BYU, go Michigan, go Maryland. I don't really have a team. I just got dogs that I like. It's just like they just have presented themselves to me, right? Um, I like Auburn, and maybe I'm wrong for that. Like I like Auburn better than I like Duke right now. I know the comments are going to kill me on that, and I know I'm supposed to like Duke. 'Cause I'm from North Carolina, but right now I just like Auburn as a better dog. But anyway, um, hope you guys have fun today. Hope you guys make a lot of money today. I hope I do the same. Um, I definitely need a nap, but this tournament season, get some coffee, Red Bull, uh, maybe some other type of adult beverage, and let's keep pushing through. But anyway, hope you found value in the show, and if you did, please like, comment, share, or subscribe in whatever order that you deem necessary. And I will see you guys on tomorrow. And happy hunting.
Yeah, lights on, game time, let's break it all down. From the spreads to the lines, who's up, who's down.